Hello and welcome to How Do I BI, a many-part screencast series on using SQL Server Analysis Services 2008, based on my book, Smart Business Intelligence Solutions with Microsoft SQL Server 2008. I'm Lynn Langett, Developer Evangelist with Microsoft in Southern California. And in this edition, we'll be looking at how to integrate SSAS data mining into Excel 2007. Before we go to the screencast, there are some FAQs and gotchas around this topic. The first one is that in order to use this functionality, you'll have to download the free add-in for integrating SSAS with Excel data mining. And this is available from many sources. www.sqlserverdataMining.com is probably the simplest way to get it. You'll also have to configure it so that Excel knows to which instance of Analysis Server it can connect and set the level of permissions. And there's a wizard that's included as part of that. There are two separate ribbons that will be added to Excel 2007, and this does work with 2007 or greater only. And I'll be having two screencast series to cover these. The first one, this one, I will talk about the table analysis ribbon, and the next one I'll talk about the data mining ribbon. As I mentioned in the gotchas, you have to have a connection to an instance of analysis services. Appropriate permissions need to be set, and as part of the initial setup wizard, you want to determine whether or not you're going to allow Excel users to create temporary models, which are session models inside of Excel, or to create models and work with models that live on the analysis server. I will also show a current CTP that is integratable into Excel 2007, which allows you to test using analysis capabilities that are hosted in the cloud or remotely rather than on an analysis server instance that you own. So we'll be looking at all these things in the upcoming screencast. We'll be taking a look at the use of the SQL Server Analysis Services 2008 data mining capability as integrated into Excel 2007. For the purposes of the screencast, we've already completed the step to download and install the add-ins and then configure them. And this is done by clicking on the Start menu and then clicking on the Getting Started and the Data Mining Add-ins wizard to configure the potential connection to Analysis Services. We've then opened the sample that comes with this, the DM Add-in Sample Data Excel workbook, and there's an explanation on the introductory page. We'll click on the Table Analysis Tool sample. Notice across the bottom we have several different sheets in this workbook, and the sample data is designed to showcase the different algorithms available in analysis services. So we have table analysis tools, we have forecasting, fill from example, source data, training data, testing data, new customers, and association data for market basket association. We won't take the time to go through all of these, but I do encourage that when you're exploring on your own, you do take the time so that you can understand how Excel data can be created to work with data mining structures and models. This will also help you when you're creating other types of source data, whether it be relational or multidimensional, to work with the various available algorithms. So I'm going to go back to the table analysis tool sample, and you'll note that when I click on any cell inside of the table here, then I have the data mining ribbon, the Analyze in the Cloud capability, and the Analyze capability on the context-sensitive table tool. So when I click off, you'll see that I have only data mining available. When I click on the table, then I can analyze the table. So we're going to start with the table analysis tools that come as part of the download. So these tools utilize a connection to analysis services, and if we take a look at the connection that I've configured here, you can see that it is just a connection into analysis services. We can test it and make sure that it works. If we wanted to create a new connection, we just click New and put in the server name and the catalog name, so on and so forth. And then I'm going to close that out. So the capabilities that we have are to analyze key influencers, detect categories, fill from example, forecast, highlight exceptions, use scenario analysis, which is goal seeking and what if, use a prediction calculator, I didn't mean to open that at this point, and use a shopping basket analysis. The last two are new to 2008. We have been enhancing the capabilities of the ribbon because we're finding that customers are wanting more capabilities built into the familiar type of client interfaces. Sort of an interesting opportunity for developers is to use Visual Studio tools for Office and to then extend the capability that we present with this add-in and customize it for your particular business scenario. So we'll just run a first example here so you can get an understanding of how this works. So I've clicked on the income column, a value in the income column, and this is a workbook page that simply gives information about attributes associated to people who have purchased bicycles. So it's the familiar sort of AdventureWorks example we've been working with throughout the series. And then I'm going to click on Detect Categories. And there's quite a bit of documentation inside of the dialog boxes. So it's designed to be a self-service in that each capability is explained. So I won't read the whole thing to you here, but as it says, detect categories automatically detects rows in a table and groups them. So you want to select your columns that are going to be used as sources, and this is what we know from data mining as input columns. So we could say that these columns are of interest, but region is not of interest for our particular scenario. And then we can set the number of categories, and we can set this to maybe 5. And we can append a category column to the original Excel table if we want to, or just look at the results. And then we click Run. So what's happening here is we're actually connecting to the analysis server, implementing a data mining algorithm, and creating a temporary result set, which is then being permanently saved as a new workbook page because we chose that option. And you can see here that we have 5 categories, and this is showing the detail for the various categories, the category characteristics that are related to the values that we chose. And then we can see that we're using the rich formatting capabilities inside of Excel to produce meaningful results visually as well. So this is the concept of one-click data mining for users who are not familiar with data mining algorithms. So let's look in a little bit more detail at what else is available inside of the analysis toolbar here. You can analyze key influencers. So we'll run that one. So we'll go ahead and click, and we'll say we want to determine what is predicting whether or not someone's buying a bike. And then if we want to affect the input columns, we can click on this link, choose columns to be used for analysis, and we can say we're not really concerned with their occupation, but we are concerned with the other values. And then again, we get the one-click result here. And once this renders, then the result will be formatted using, again, Excel's rich capabilities. So we can see over here that we have a key influencers report on which column and which value in that column favors the attribute of purchasing a bike. We then have a subsequent wizard that opens up. This is a discrimination based on key influencers. As it says, again, it's very well documented. Select values to create reports to compare how key factors differentiate them. So you continue to analyze this, and you can compare to value 1, yes or no, and value 2, and you can add another report, so on and so forth. So quite a bit of power and functionality in the table analysis tools. Just to prove to you that this is requiring a connection to analysis services. If I attempt to run this with no connection, you'll see that I'll get an error because the functionality is not being run on Excel, rather on analysis server. Now, a new interesting capability that we've released a CTP for just recently on SQLServerDataMining.com/cloud. This is an additional downloadable component for Excel 2007, or you can actually run it in a browser, is Analyze in the Cloud. And you'll see that when I click this, the ribbon that's produced is very similar looking to the one that we just looked at. The difference, of course, is in the connection button. And if I click the connection button, you can see that we have this site set up for the CTP that has this address. And when we release this for RTM, which will be at some future point, obviously this will be a service that you would access and then pay us for. So in this case, we would have the ability to run this same functionality even though we have no connection to a local analysis services instance. And obviously the reason that you might do this is because you don't have the administrative staff or the development staff in-house, or the resources, the server resources to host this. So we'll go to Analyze in the Cloud, and I'll click on Income, and I'll click on Analyze Key Influencers, and you'll see we'll get exactly the same wizard. So it's the same experience for the end users, and we'll deselect occupation because we don't care about that. and we'll click Run, and we'll see that we're connecting to the internet here. So we have to say okay, that we approve sending our data up to this data center where this is being processed. And once this renders, then we will see a comparable result. So what's very important to understand is for end users, it's basically irrelevant whether they're connecting to an analysis server instance that you have on-premise or one in the cloud. The idea is that they can just take the data that they have, and the Analyze ribbon is particularly designed to use Excel data as source data. And that's the differentiator between this ribbon and the one we're going to see in the next screencast, which is the data mining ribbon. And then use the power of SQL Server Analysis Services data mining to further understand that information. So in the next screencast, we will take a look at the subsequent ribbon. Thank you.